Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of MissFlips. If you guys are new here, my name is Marissa and I flip furniture. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that's a little different than usual. We're going to be talking about how to sell furniture on Etsy. So I recently made my first sale on Etsy. This bad boy right here. I wasn't getting really any traction on it. I had so many people message me about like how cool it was and how much they liked the piece, which is the first time I've ever had anyone compliment the piece. Like that's all they were contacting me to do, was just to say how cool it was. And so I was just, kind of bummed. It was a really cool piece, I thought, and the fact that it wasn't really selling kind of bummed me out. But then I had someone actually purchase it through my Etsy shop. So in a few days, it's going to be off to its new home in New York. So we're shipping from Atlanta to New York, and I am here to tell you all about that process from beginning to end, how I do that. So when you're first listing items on Etsy, you're probably going to be listing items that have already sold, and you want to do this just so when people go to your store, they have an option to kind of see what your store is about and to follow you for potential pieces that you're going to be posting in the future. So the way that I do this, I put sold in all caps like this, and then I put a little asterisk, whatever, the star. I put a little star at the end of the sold, just so people really know that it is a sold piece. So I make sure to include it in the description of the listing, such as like, this piece has sold. It is up here for sample purposes, or whatever you want to put in your description. And then I put the rest of the description below that. If you want, you can even edit a photo that says sold on it of your piece and make sure to include it in your bulk of pictures for that specific item. And an easy way to do that is just to go on Instagram and act like you're going to create a story and put a picture of your item and then put in big bold letters sold, either at the top or along the entire picture, or whatever the case may be. It's a quick, easy fix. And then you save that to your phone and then put that in the bulk of photos that you end up uploading for the item. But you want to make sure that that's not the first photo that people see. You want to put it second, or somewhere along, just not first, because you do want to attract an audience. You do want people to go to your store. So you want to make sure that the first photo that they see of that item is something that's going to entice them and make them curious. When pricing your items, I personally recommend including the shipping price into your whole price and then offering free shipping. So say you're selling a piece for $400, but shipping is going to cost $200. You want to add $200 or whatever other expenses you're going to have on the shipping side of things to that cost. So at the end of the day, your listing says, oh, this piece sells for $600 or $700, and then they also get free shipping with that. This is more likely to attract more customers than it would be if, say your piece was listed for $400 and then they go to check out and then they're surprised with like a $300 shipping charge. It's much easier just to see the total price that you're gonna spend up front, knowing that you won't have any surprise charges on the back end of it. So I always make sure to include my shipping into the cost of the piece. Etsy also takes 5% of the total price of your piece, so make sure you plan for that as well. It is very important to also include the dimensions in a piece, because someone is buying this online. It's never a guarantee what you're going to be getting online. So you do want to make sure you show all the pictures of if there's blemishes, scratches, whatever the case may be. You want to show pictures of all the little details. But if you're refurbishing furniture, you're not usually dealing with any damaged pieces or anything like that. Usually what you're going to be wanting to show detailed pictures of are, the color of paint or the hardware, or the wood grain or things like that. Just details that people can kind of get an idea, because they are looking at this online. You don't want your photos to be too photoshopped or too touched up, too brightened, colored, whatever, because you want it to be true to to what it is going to be like when they receive it. I like to also include the materials that I used, what kind of paints, what kind of finish, what kind of wood, all that sort of stuff, so that people really know the detail that's going into their piece, because a lot of people do care about those kinds of things, especially when they're spending large amounts of money on online shopping. They really care about the small details that go into the piece. So when it comes to shipping your furniture, the two websites that I would recommend checking out are UShip and Greyhound. Those are two shipping services that work really well. UShip is actually a really cool alternative to shipping large pieces of furniture, because you list your item and then people will contact you to bid on shipping your furniture for you. So these people are verified by the UShip website, and they have their own vans or trucks or vehicles to carry their shipments in. And they usually do multiple shipments at a time. So they're carrying multiple pieces of furniture to nearby areas like yours. For example, right now I'm shipping a piece from Georgia to New York. I had several people contact me through UShip about my listing and offer me their prices that work for them in exchange for shipping my piece. And bids vary. Every single driver will send you a different bid depending on how many furniture they're already bringing with them, if they're only bringing yours, what kind of car they have, blah, 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 blah. It's different for every single person who bids on your listing. But what I like about UShip is that you are supporting someone independent. You're supporting the single versus a large company or a corporation. So you know that money is going directly towards the person doing the work, which I really like the idea of. And UShip is great because they pick it up from your home and then drop it off directly to the delivery location. There's no dropping it off at a station or having to meet someone, packaging, all that sort of stuff. There's nothing that has to do with any of that. You just get it picked up from your home and get it taken to the place that you want it to be taken, which I love. Greyhound is another great option. The two options that I have seen listed on there are, they have one option where you drop it off at one of their stations and then the person who made the purchase picks it up from the nearest location to them. The other option is that you go and drop it off at the station and then they take it and deliver it straight to the door. The second one is obviously a little bit more expensive because they do have to go out of their way to deliver it right to their door, but it's honestly not that much of a difference. I think the difference was only like $40 or something like that. The only downside is you still do have to drop it off yourself at the location. When it comes to packaging your items through UShip, you don't have to do any packaging whatsoever. The UShip person will provide a blanket if that's what you request within your shipping requirements. They'll provide the blanket and wrap it up for you and all that sort of stuff. And then with Greyhound, you do have to provide your own blankets. I personally would probably wrap it in bubble wrap if you can do that. If you have your own moving blankets or are willing to buy some and wrap the moving blankets with like tape or whatever around the piece, then that's also a great option. And yeah, those are the options that I use when it comes to shipping. I like to go back and forth and kind of use both of those options just to see which one's gonna be a little cheaper for me in the long run. As I said before, I always like to support the individual rather than the corporation, so my personal choice is going to be UShip most of the time. But of course, it's all about personal preference, what you feel comfortable with, and how much you feel comfortable spending on shipping. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you learned a lot from this video. I know I have learned a lot about Etsy in the past couple of days just from selling my first piece. And definitely make sure when you're making your page, include the fact that you do commissioned pieces, because I've already had a few people request for me to do custom pieces as well. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe and do all those things. I release a video every Thursday and we'll be back to see you guys next week. And best of luck with your newfound Etsy shops. In the meantime, stay flippin'. Mwah.